Welcome everybody back here to Slipstream. It is, of course, an interesting segment that is unusual to see. Normally, the B stream will have one game. Today, we have two games and only two casters. And, well, Slipstream legend himself, Faded, is joining me into the commentary booth tonight. And, how are you in terms of this?
Yeah, doing pretty well, Danny. And, I'm interested to see how this new concept we have here is going to work out. Because, as Danny just said, we're going to try and cast two games at once here with two casters. And it's going to be great. And the matches in question, we've got godalions, Aztecs, and TC Sports as one of them. And then, of course, it is Ascension. Helios are we playing? I have my mind stuck on who they're playing against. I'm very quickly checking who they will be up against in just a sec. I mentioned that would not be bad. Breakdown Xenon, yeah, that is correct. Thank you very much. Cheesecake, really I should have known that. But either way, those are the two matches we've got on stream today for Promo Relegation. So, the Breakdown and Ascension game will be up first, and 10 minutes after TC Sports and Godalions Aspects will be starting up as well. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how this will work out for us.
Well, it's going to be interesting as well. Our first match is technically ready. We could start it right now, Faded, if you would like them to do so. But as well, we may as well update it. It will be picture-in-picture tonight as well, too. So the second match will start slightly later, so there will be always some kind of guaranteed bit of gameplay. And with that, nonetheless, we do have our first of the two matches starting. And with that said, any cheeky predictions before we go too far ahead?
Ooh, it's difficult to say, but I would like to favour the Ascension side in this. But we are counting in it to our first game here of the series between Ascension, Helios and Breakdown. So let's see how this one will turn out. As, of course, Ascension have just come off a loss, actually, to Astro Atlas. That was a 4-1, I believe. So we'll see where the heads are at going into this one, as early on we are seeing Ascension having to play out the one half here, and it is an early shooting chance coming through, but now it will be cleared out and away. And now it will be Ascension trying to play out of their own half here, but you can understand it may be a bit jittery coming off the last series off of a loss, as it is Jessica trying to go for a shot, but we'll be blocked out once again.
Well, say we've been mentioning the fact of the loss as well. Only recently that was on the main channel as well. If you are going to lose the series, Faded, is it best to lose it by some margin, or are you more contented when it's a 4-3 or maybe 4-2 when it is a closer series? What would, if you're in that situation, prefer coming into the second match?
Well, it's difficult to say, really. But, it depends what opposition you're going up against. If it's a closer match, you're maybe going to be a bit more annoyed, I guess, that you lost that close affair. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to be slapped around, because it is very demoralizing. But, I mean, it depends what your mindset really is going into that, and knowing Ascension. I mean, if you know they got outclassed, you know what they want to do going into this, then maybe the noise won't affect them so much necessarily. So. And the fact they took a game of Astro, they know they're a better opponent, they're like, okay, fair enough, we got a game that's fine with us. So, yeah, they are starting to pour into this, though, as we're just about 2 minutes in. We do find the Ascension on the side of Breakdown, and they are trying to find an opportunity here, but the Breakdown guys still holding on as Jessica trying to go for it yet again. Make the block, and it is in the center of the dribbling. He's ready and waiting for that, as usual. So, approaching halftime here, still 0-0 in this first game here. So, really, it is about time someone could score, and that is a loose ball going into the box of the Ascension Helios, but now they will be able to clear out. So, still more or less back and forth action in this first game.
As you've been saying it quite nicely, everything has been somewhat around, and yes, the Ascension Helios side has came from a loss, but the sort of the half the gameplay work, we haven't really seen too much of an issue. A few jitters here back and round, and of course it is their league play spot. They're trying to factly defend as well. They do not want to have an early slip up after a second chance as well, and The net has been exposed plenty of times. Hopefully, it will shear up. It's an infield pass finally be approaching as well. If anybody is still wondering, the second match technically starts at 10 past the hour itself as well. So we will have actually 2 matches running. When particularly this might be game 2, or the way this has been feeling, person myself, it might be a lot lengthy OT in game 1.
Yeah, it could perhaps be just with the way this game has been going, and wouldn't mind an OT in the first game after all. But yeah, it goes with the run of play. It's very close action this first game, and yes, there has been those chances about those teams, but so far none of them slipping by. But here we are, as this be the first one. Mika's going to be sending one through for the breakdown side to make it 1.
Fabulous backboard as well. They get right through, and that illusion of a OT has been truly shattered. And as the Ascension side, or the Helios, will be looking to maybe reform and regroup to get 1-1 back on the scoreline. Yet to, of course, occur, get their opening one. In factly, is their last chance saloon as well, as they did a venture briefly upfield to the breakdown roster side. They have yet to actually penetrate with some force here to the net, break down the entirety of the defense, and with that little passing play, that one will go completely.
Yeah, it will indeed, as we are now seeing Ascension on the back foot once more, but transitioning out now, gets through ball into Bree, but she's unable to find the shot there, and now we will see what Ascension can do again, as it is pushed on forward. Mika still booming it downfield. Driven has to get up to this. It is high, and he will be able to recover for a follow-up touch. And now half a minute on the clock. I'm not trying to get this one out. Flicks it over 1, but the midfield being locked down here by Breakdown, and now it could be potential fire attackers. Driven finds the ball into the center, but no shot to be found. And now it will be Amma trying to pop it high. Bree around the corner. Very little time left. The demo comes through, and Driven, he tries a shot, but it's going to be wide, and that will be game 1 done and dusted. Breakdown Xenon by a margin of just 1 single goal, getting that first game on the board.
Right, literally, well, some may expect after coming from a loss, but Fada, it wasn't necessarily a bad performance either from the Helios themselves after losing a series. 1-0 is not too bad here, but it has to be also mentioned as well that the sort of Xenon breakdown roster themselves suffered a bit of a ping slide issue there recently at the end too. So a few hiccups either side of it, but nothing majorly discounting the performance. So strong, but I hate to use the phrase, but stable to say that.
Yeah, I mean, with essentially, they strangely only registered 1 shot on net, but nonetheless, it wasn't a bad performance necessarily from Ascension. I think they played fairly well, to be quite frank. So, they found themselves on the back foot a lot in that game as well. So, that's something they will want to look at, trying to find more of those chances, because the stats show they did lack them despite having a decent amount of time in the opponent's half. But now going into game 2 of the series, as we are loading in here, we'll see what this one has in store, Danny.
Well, it's going to be an interesting affair as well, and our second game will be approachingly on stream as well too, with before we even allude to that factor as well. It's been a while since we cast it here at Slipstream. I remember the Ascension roster a long time ago had a very particular man in the form of Jez on the roster when Bree was playing as well too. It just shows you how maybe which one of that sort of particular team still has the essence to continue and improve, and sadly Jess no longer on the roster, at least in terms of playing tonight-wise, and back and forth it has gone, and that's a decent clearance as well after a minute 2.
That does indeed to be the case, but appears we're having some stream difficulties, so it looks like radio commentary for the time being, but currently we see as Heels of attack is actually going to be Bree with a slow ball to finish this one off and put Ascension ahead now, and that was a nice follow-up from Drubin there. Good touch, and really left the keeper any tough spots. So Bree getting the Ascension side's first goal in this game, and early on as well. So after being unable to find anything in the last game, they do get themselves on the board finally.
It's not too bad, and it will just calm the nerves as well down after such a one-sided affair and a loss. They have finally broken the sort of the camel's sort of back in that sense of the pressure. They know eliminations on foot as well too, so any goal will certainly ease the pressure going into it. Nice fake in between here, and so far Helios themselves as a roster looks much more at ease compared to what we've seen 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, indeed. So they've eased off of it. So now we are 2 minutes in, and really it is now Breakdown wanting to make that response. They are calling an attack here because Mikas trying for that double tap, but it is followed off of the backboard by Jez, but driven off the line, and we'll get it away. Now here goes Jez again. Early challenge from Bree. That is good from her, but still, even with that effort, it's Breakdown on the attack. But here comes Ruben doing a great job on defense so far. Not much power on that flick though to get it out. Here comes Bree finally putting it to the side. We'll actually get to pass one defender. Mikas has to come in to keep it out. And Reno into Jess to put it down the field, and now still Breakdown trying to put that pressure on, a bit like game one. But now Bree no boost as Mikas to go up against another early challenge, but that is a dangerous ball. Jess having to take it out of the box there. Now going back on attack. Maybe no, it will be Ascension to keep it going.
A nice little back infield ball too, and as much as this ball has been Helios to play with, it's not too really rapturous the attack as well too. So with that being a demo, it's just a typical moment. They've tied things up here, and Breakdown, they may have scored the first one last time, the only goal to be more specific. This time they do what their opposition failed to do, so now we actually have a game on our hands.
Indeed we do. So it is all tied up, less than 2 minutes to go in this one. So we'll see how this game concludes. This last minute or so being more so favouring Breakdown here, and they do finally get rewarded with that goal they were striving for, and they are. Speaking of which, back on attack, as that is a poor clearance there from the Helios defense. Bree unable to get to it, Driven having to clean that one up, and now Driven still going down the field, trying to get the pressure on the infield into Bree. The chance was there, but it is saved. But now Driven getting another demo. I'm trying to put it into the center. It is popped high, Driven up once more, but unable to get contact with the ball. But Bree now, a good challenge. It is put into the center again. Endrino trying to get up to it. No touch to be found. Infield pass perhaps imminent, but no touch is found there. 60 seconds will be up and coming very shortly. Still Helios pressing on here. Driven up once more, but yes, we'll finally be able to relieve that pressure from Ascension. And really this game, just like the last one, looks to be decided by a single goal perhaps now. As you see Bree off the backboard, Driven, maybe this could be a chance to score, but the shot once more is going wide.
Nice battle that certainly has commenced series-wise. This could go the distance of it once, and big vital block as well. Nice throw down, and it's a soft touch into middle. It's a free shot, and Bree has played well so far, and that's a nice little slow poking delay, all right at the heart, and it's straight in for 2-1. You made the comment earlier, might be decided by one goal. I think it will be after this one.
Absolutely, Danny, and there's Endrino just slotting into the top corner past both defenders, and so late drama in game 2 as Breakdown once again getting themselves a lead. But now as Ascension right off kickoff trying to find a goal for retribution. Driven was there, he tried to make the read, but it will not work out for him. 10 seconds to go as now the ball is high and Dorino getting up to it. Driven unable to make a touch there, and they need to keep this one up now as it's launched high onto the backward. Jez, the touch isn't that good, but it will be enough for Breakdown to secure their second game of the series now, and that makes it 2-0, Danny. And oh boy, Breakdown, after maybe a slow start, they really ramped it up once again. And in the end, after a late goal, they find that winning once more.
A summary of that game, particularly on display, and rightly so too. Since the Helios themselves as a roster looked to be for pretty well after their only goal so far in the series in the form of Bree's strike. But yet after that, we've seen again the breakdown of the defence, and it just seems to be struggling to find some kind of creative outlets at the moment, which is a bit unfair to an extent on them because I don't think this represents their entire series. Yes, it was poor. Yes, it hasn't been well. But today is all days. That's where you have to show up. 2-0 series winds down. Still plenty of time to come back, however. They've got distance to go in the series. And fear that we are well aware, we've seen this plenty of times before where you go 2-0 down and suddenly the team just finds that extra gear in the key moments.
Yeah, they do indeed. I don't know how many times I've seen a situation like that before. So yeah, we're going to load into game 3 now, and it's maybe been a bit of a struggle for Helios so far, but they've made the first 2 games competitive somewhat. So they have every opportunity to bring themselves back into this series. But of course, in game 3, don't want to lose this one because that would be rushing territory. But it looks like Bree's not wanting that to happen. She slots the first goal in with only 6 seconds gone, and so they're off once more to an early start.
I hate to be somewhat pessimistic here, Faded, but I have this feeling here where Bree scored the opening goal in a particular game. How did that one end out of interest?
Well, that one ended up in them losing that lead and then losing the game overall. So, yeah, it may be a bit pessimistic to say that, but the track record shows that even when Helios get a lead, they haven't been able to hold on to it too well. It might change here though, but the shot isn't found from Dubin to follow that one up. And now we're going to see Helios in their own half. It is a dangerous ball as the challenge has come through, and now we are seeing Bree trying to clear it. The demo is there, but the ball's still in their box, and that is a missed clear, but a missed shot as well. And Ascension could have been punished for that, but they will get away with it for now. As Xenon having to clear it away once more. Gotta say, Helios, it was a scary situation, but now a minute in, they still hold on to their 1-goal lead, but defense looking quite awkward at the moment, and they really got to sort that one out and get themselves out of there fast.
It was like they were trying to tie their own shoelaces for the first time, got the wrong shoe there. It was a tad unfortunate, but they do finally find the way to unbuckle itself, and an infield pass would be... Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. That was near enough. A mighty blunder to let that one in, and it alluded to the fact well enough to an extent when the lead has been gained, lost it in fold when necessarily, when they have to stay strong here. Bree, decent clearance once more, and you know what, credit to her, she has played fabulous so far this series, especially defensively. It's just cannot do it all by herself.
Yeah, that's the case, but she won't be able to save that one, will she? As Jez comes in for that equalizer, and he played that one very well. Amatsu trying to get to that one, couldn't make the challenge. The ball just sailed right over his head, and in the end, as the last one, it's a decision you got to make. Do you rush? Do you not? And just try to play it out. Gotta say, it wasn't the optimal decision there in the end, and so, just like last game, it is now tied back up here, and with 3 minutes to go, Helios haven't looked at their best over, as a team, shall we say, in these first couple of minutes, even with that lead. So I'm not too convinced that they can turn us back into the lead for themselves in this crucial game. They've got half the game to do so, sure, but it's just not been enough really to keep up with Breakdown, because Breakdown always seem to have won over this Ascension side.
Does lack the sort of belief from us as spectators, yet the 3 players on the pitch themselves will rightly are the ones who have to make it happen. But this shot just slips on in, and rightly so. You did not have any faith, and it is, well, repaid sadly in the ways that we didn't think that was humanly possible. That one 2-1.
Yeah, 2-1 now in favour of instead of breakdown. So just like last game, managing to bring it back very quickly. And so find yourselves back in the lead, and this is really dire for the Helios side. Gotta, really pick it up in these next 2 minutes to get themselves a game win here. Otherwise, it's match point for their opponents, and that is going to be a very, very difficult situation to come back from, as it's still breakdown, finding that pressure and a potential shot. What a save though from Matsu to keep it out, as now as Drubin trying to take it down the field, had a teammate to work with, but took a bit too much time. Now Bree touches to the side, the demo does come through for Drubin, so allows Bree a little bit of breathing room, gets it past another defender, and Drubin are going to get it out, but Matsu now off the corner. It's going to try get into the middle of the 50-50s there. Drubin with a follow-up, and he will just manage to slot it through. And now Helios finally, they wake up, they get that equalizer now, and with 90 seconds left, looking like the previous games, it could be a 1-goal affair again.
As well, just for the record books as well to show, it is the first time that Helios as a roster finally breaks past that 1 goal per game type situation. The issue is facing an opposition side that can frankly outproduce them goal-wise here, and just nice touch. But again, where is the defensive solidity there? Drubin, decent blocking. Well, I think both sides are feeling the gravitas of the situation here, and one pass back in, not happening. So 60 seconds is the warning, and we could allude to the fact as well, if this is to go 3-0 down, Helios will be probably fighting against all odds as Slipstream, or the former as it was known as ECC in terms of the history book. Very few teams ever came back when they were this far down, especially in the relegation side of the battle. Only the promotion side really actually saw the massive upsets in the historical sense, so Bree and co will have a lot of work to do.
Absolutely, and it really starts from here. Can they get themselves out of that potential situation? It could be yes, as Drubin as a one-on-one takes the shot, but it's not going to be enough to face Jez, as now they are still in the opponent's half goal, so they have pressure going into the final 20 seconds, but it's been relieved. It's taken over Drubin. Mikas has no boost to work with. A decent touch will be enough. No, the shot will go wide, but it goes under one defender. Drubin has to save it off the line. Again, another scare for Helios, and now on 0 seconds, Jez trying to get out. He went for that flip reset, but in the end, it will drop, and so we're into overtime now, Danny. Clean slate for the now. And it is breakdown again, trying to get it off the attack early, and Matsu though crucially getting a touch away.
So those situations you're always worried about making the mistakes. So sometimes, as you said, the clean slate, they've got to find a way of staying calm in these situations. It's easy for us to say it, obviously, in the booth itself here in FIDA. You played in many matches yourself, and you've been in these situations. Surely there's always one player that you'll look forward to in the comms to bring yourself out of the situation here. We have not seen somebody step up here, as we've seen practically 6 players consecutively whiff after the ball. There's some nerves, as I said before, playing a factor at the biggest stage of their careers. That ball moves quite high up into the roof there.
Yeah, indeed. And when you talk about someone that you have to look to here, I mean, I've been in that situation many times before, and sometimes it's got to be that one person that steps up, motivates the team, makes the work plays, and really brings them together. And that one for Ascension, you can maybe point to, Bree and Jim are happy to do some good things individually, but someone needs to make that huge play to get him back into it. It has to happen within this overtime, as they do find themselves on attack. It is breakdown having a bit of a tough time on defense, and Matsu trying to slow it down, takes the corner boost too, so really trying to starve down this breakdown side. Drubin now trying to turn it in. He forces the 50-50, but the end it will go out as a Matsu, as the Dorman again challenges, maybe unnecessarily, but Bree with no boost to spare will keep them alive, but maybe it can't be for long. The shot is wide, the demo comes through again for Bree, and it could be a bit of breathing room now finally. So 2 minutes now, we're about to approach into this overtime, and there's again some scares from either side, but still we remain scoreless within this overtime.
This shows you how these athletes have been battling through the entire league play, and it doesn't matter how well that you can play 1 week. It's always the tricky situations, and that shot will go wide. And it looks like Druben has disconnected on the pitch here, was not moving for some considerable time there. But even with that said, though, Bree could have saved it. Bree could have got it away, but nonetheless, Bree will be suffering a 3-0 hammering on the series scoreline with effectively one last life left.
Yeah, and you can say it's unfortunate for Druben. I know he's been having some internet problems, but in the end, still it is heartbreak for the side of Ascension. And whilst they did get, as I started, they got pretty hammered in their own defense, they still held strong. And I felt like that was a game either team could have won there, to be honest. But in the end, Ascension, half unfortunate, but half that could have been prevented on the side of Bree. And we were talking about it throughout that game. It's now a dire situation, in all of Rocket League esports history. Not many teams have managed to come back from 3-0 down the best of 7. So the odds are very much against Ascension Helios. And, I'd be even tempted to say it's just breakdown series to lose at this point, because at the moment, they are just barely in the driver's seat, but they're always seeming to have one over Ascension at every step here.
When you talk about that sort of reverse sweep territory up the top level, you're only talking about it being done about 11 times in 2020 and 21. I think it was only about 3's been added since then as well too. So rare records, rare to say the least it happens. In lesser competitions, you can have two mindsets that it can happen because of weaker opposition. The fact that you're playing even, the fact that you're playing somebody of equal quality should provide nonetheless a similar playing field. However, this has not been level. That came from the aerial shot, and for the first time as well, we can actually say they've scored one actually off their own tuition.
Yeah, they have indeed. So Helios, you can tell they're not giving up just yet. They're managing to string together another play and put themselves ahead again. But, the records show they've been unable to keep a hold of that lead and go on to win the game from that. So they've got still work ahead of them, essentially. There's not enough to convince any of us just yet, as it is Druben. He's trying to push up again. Bree attempting to put it into the box. It's going to be cleared instantly. And now Amatsu trying to get it out. Druben going up for us, up against Enderino. The beat is there into the corner. It's a shooting chance for Jez. He tries to go for the top shelf. He won't put it through. That ball completely uncontested. And in the end, the equaliser comes through rather quick for Breakdown.
A spare thought for Bree there as well. Just staring at it and sort of thought, I could get a piece of this, sadly not. And the record we keep bringing up, and it's not trying to be disheartening for one side in the blue, it's just the fact that Harrod has happened on the pitch. Harrod has happened on the day as well. They lost 4-1 series-wise. It might even crash and burn out 4-0. They might, however, see Saviour. The post, however, a bit of glittering touch there after the keeper resending the ball to that direction. 90 seconds will be approaching. It is 1-1, but the series now teetering fully on the edge here.
Yeah, it is indeed, as we are seeing now. Ascension Helios just getting back up once again, and it was a lovely ball, as I said, for Mats, and really for Druben, that beat was what did it. An open net for him, and so 90 seconds in this series, starting to really go out of control, as you're saying. It's very much tearing on the edge, and really, anything can happen at this rate. As now, essentially, they do find themselves back in the leads, which, could say is a good sign, but they've got to keep a hold of it, and they may have trouble here as Bree has to get up to it. The save isn't fantastic, though, but it will do the job as Jez coming in again. On the back where he had that double tap chance, but couldn't recover for it. As Amatsu gets it out, it is going to be put back into the Ascension half, and Druben's not in a comfortable spot. Tries to play across net. That's a very dangerous play, but the shot in the end. And so now you'll see the side of Ascension having another shot. Is Bree going long on that? But now in front of the net, Amatsu actually tackles one defender, and Bree to touch the side won't be enough. So halfway through, Ascension still leading in this one, but really, you know, at any moment that could change real quick.
Slippery how this performance has been, and we are losing confidence. But yet, the scoreline is not deceiving your eyes. It is 2-1 after all, and Quicknor firing shots here, and Breakdown has not actually broke down too much here, and a quick little pop in. That one by Drubin's a nice viable block there to keep pressure still contained in with 2 minutes left on the clock here. It is the case though for Breakdown, it's a matter of when and if they score more than if since Helios actually holds on to the lead. That's how it feels from the distance of looking from a more objective set of eyes here, as there's one touch back down here as they look to move to score their second one so far here, and they will. Scratch that! They will not score their second one. It's 2 consecutive crossbars, and I think that is whiff of the week.
Yeah, indeed. You know, I am, you know, almost. Oh my god! Right. I don't know what to think of that, Danny, but that.
Oh,
is...
let them have it. Go on.
Yeah. Okay, that is quite bizarre, honestly. What just happened there? Because you're thinking the first shot, yeah, definitely should be in, but instead it got rocketed into the bloody crossbar. And then with that play, you're thinking, yeah, that should be safe, but it wasn't. So, I was saying earlier, anything can happen in this series, and I guess that is, you know, literally the case here. As that play has just happened, it's now tied up here once again, and really the rest of this game, you know, almost unpredictable after that shenanigans.
Well, you sit there and may think the strange has bewildered us. It has. You might as well buy a lotto ticket because it has more sense and logic at the moment. Drubin, fair play to him. Got it across, dunks it right in. And for the first time as well, it is 3-2. Not the first time we're seeing a scoreline, but in the shape of blue. Just can they hold it for 65 more seconds?
Can they is the question, and a lot of people would be tempted to say no, they can't. But you know, it's them to decide. Let's see if they can do it. So less than 60 seconds to go. It is Helios back on attack now, and Breakdown trying to play it out. They're the ones that want to tie this one up, of course, as Aramatsu bringing it downfield. Ender on his own the defense. Can he do anything? It seems to be the case, as Bree was unable to find a shot. As now Drubin plays it forward. Make us now having control here. Drubin though making that challenge and just trying to keep Breakdown at bay. It seems to be the way to go at the moment, as Mikas puts it down the line. Ender tries to pre-jump it. He finds a touch and it could prove troublesome, but Amatsu, nice clear out, but still Mikas keeping the pressure on. He's going in for one more. He fakes it in. Reno comes in, but Amatsu again off the line. But it's still very much dangerous. Jez tries to get possession of this. What can he do? Not a whole lot, as the ball is still high. Breakdown still well within reach to get this, but Helios, they finally do it. It is still by a margin of 1 goal, but they managed to get their first game on the board. But still, the road ahead is very dark and scary and rather long for them. But it's maybe a sigh of relief that finally they can get one over Breakdown here.
I think the fact that we're looking at the series and sort of going, there is no hope, is just showing you how bleak it was. And Bree missed a fairly sitter as well, too, both to score and clear at one point there. So it could have maybe slipped to the realm of 4-2, breaking that pattern that has been put in front of us. But nonetheless, we've seen this even earlier today, actually on the A stream, 4-1 that they lost by. It's, funny enough, 3-1 as it stands here. So there are, sadly, repetitions that could be unfolded here. Can they break sort of what has came before them and outdo their own performance?
Well, time will tell, Danny, and we will see how this fifth game will treat us. You know, Ascension, yes, they managed to get that one game, but you know, it wasn't a clean, it was a pretty performance overall, and so they had to prove to us, can they do that consistently from here on out? Well, let's find out, as Drubin and Matsu teaming up here to get this first shot. And we're going to have to save and make us getting a demo to give His teammate a lot of space, and then another shot goes through, and both defenders, they try to dive across for it, but it's not enough to get this one now, and Breakdown now, this time they'll get the first on the board.
The worst thing is, well, there, Druben spotted the other two, realistically did not, and it was a case of it was a savable shot, and once more we find ourselves not surprised that they found themselves trailing 1-0. This is almost reminiscent to actually game one itself, a reasonably quick goal in comparison to the clock, and yet it's just whether they can continue it on. However, a few shenanigans, as you like to describe it, Fate, it was happening there at the Breakdown net here, and Druben tucks that one in a safety, so a minute will be gone by. 1-0, however, is the favour on the scoreline.
Yeah, indeed the case, and essentially had a chance there, but really fluffed it, to say the least. It's Bree having a bit of trouble getting this one out of one half. Oh my, that could have been a disaster, but Druben comes in to bail her out there. But you can tell Ascension and Nerves are starting to come back for them, really, and they are struggling to get anything going. As Druben now having her booming clear, not enough though to get past Jez. Is now off the ceiling. What could he do with it? Tries to put it down to Amatsu, but Jez down across forward. Now Bree off the corner wall, not the touch she was looking for. Ideally getting it into the center in that play, but now it will be Druben coming in once more. Gets it off the corner again, it's into the center, and Amatsu manages to slip it by the last two defenders, and it was looking a bit unlikely that they would have gotten that one, but they'll take it. Ascension put themselves back to an equalized score.
Well, it seems to be Essential Helios is playing the greatest hits and segments here. First minute was game one, the second minute seems to be game two. By game 5 here, we're approaching. Are we expecting the 5th minute going quite literally as but tedious in terms of that's one and go 3-3 or maybe 4-3, Fade it? Because right now, what we did know is happening. It's just a case of it's been accelerated much more quicker as the second one has been put in.
Yeah, I am honestly, for the track of this game, I'm expecting this to be more high scoring as we go through it. And it is starting off here as Enderino gets it past Bree. Really has been a shot by the defender, easy as you like. As now it will be 0-1 up for Breakdown. And really, who knows how the rest of this game could go, as we've been saying all series long. As Mikos does put that one across, it's into the corner. Bree struggling to get up to that was Enderino into the box. Amatsu gets across though. Now Bree having to make a crucial challenge. She does manage to at least keep in her own half. Is now that one going towards the Breakdown net. Druben now attempting a shot, but is wide of the mark because now out to the side. Amatsu getting really outplayed by that pinch. That time was not expected. And high touch Mikos up for it. So is Druben. Is neutral into the box here. The defenders up. The pinch comes through, and he will keep it out here. And now Bree trying to put it down the field, but no support behind it. And now Breakdown have that possession. They're trying to play it out their own half, but Bree still running to starboard there.
Ascension Helios will be feeling the next 2 minutes as their careers depended on it, as it actually does this time around. It's no longer a case of we can play the next game in the set. It's no longer just what we can do on the day. It's now within the next 2 minutes if they want to preserve their spot, to preserve what is left. And so far that pass in the middle actually destroyed the Breakdown attack here, and we could see maybe a bit of genius on action here. Not happening. Completely disintegrates on the play there. 1 minute 30, 90 seconds give or take, and we could just see the Ascension Helios waving goodbye.
They may do that. They're still trying to get anything going, but every time they're being shut down by Breakdown. As now Druben trying to play it out of this corner time really against Ascension here. Of course, still not convinced that they can make a comeback like this happen on a consistent basis, as we are seeing Bree diving across. It's a high touch as our Enderino completely misreads that one. Just has to try and slow it down, but inevitably Bree's going to get a touch. Maybe not actually, she doesn't read it. As now Druben into the middle. Amatsu trying something there, but the 50 does not go in his favour. Now Enderino off the corner. Can he get the second touch? Beautiful from him, and that will add to Jessica. And now 46 seconds left it may well be essentially Helios bowing out of this one.
Well, we had whiff of the week potential already in this game. We might have pass and goal of the tournament as well. And as Faded has effectively drawn the curtain slightly there, and rightly so too, since as Helios themselves are gone and out within the next 38 seconds. If they do not find 2 goals, they have not seemed likely. They've only done it once in a entire game before. And Bree, that chop weakened Tim at Tierran as this ball goes all the way back to Drubin, back to the final third of their own. It does not look likely, and this one might just slip on in. It would have definitely been the nail in the coffin. And with 10 seconds left, I think it's time to happily say GG.
Yeah, it will be the case, and yep, absolutely, Maycast is going to put the aforementioned nail in the coffin, and there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, Breakdown will find their promotion into the 2nd division, whereas Helios, the Division 2 side, will be dropping down. And, you know, I must say, it was very close to the first 4 games of the series, 1-goal matches, but this time Breakdown not mucking around. They do get the 4-1 victory. Very well played to them in this match, and really a performance they can be proud of, even if it wasn't the cleanest of series we have seen around here. And the ball will drop eventually, finally, and that will do it for the series. And before we get back to that, I'd like to mention, if anyone's wondering what happened to godalions Ascension ECC8, turns out that it's a forfeit in terms of the godalions side, and so TC just didn't show up in time, and that's really that. So we basically lied. You know, we were going to cast 2 games, but the players weren't having any of it. But nonetheless, still glad to see that series there. I hope you're all happy to see a series like that. And yeah, Danny, that really wraps it up. A 4-1 victory for Breakdown. Not the most comfortable series we've seen for them, but, you know, perhaps the series score as a whole showed that it could have been a lot harder, but really Ascension not able to get the job done when he needed to.
Simply summed it up as well as it can be, and it's a bit unfortunate, but that's what a league play, and that's what also playoff does to you. If you don't get your wins, you put yourself in that jeopardy. And they found, unfortunately, the blunt end of it today, and we can only wish them well for Division 3, and of course, congratulations for the ones going up. But with that being said, though, Faded as well, I've had a brief look on the corner of my eye as well. The main channel is still going on with the Bad Karma match, and it's still quite juicy, to be fair, to plenty of gameplay still left in that one, so I think we might turn our eyes towards that one.
Yeah, we will do. So I think we will wrap it up there and shift you guys over to the main channel. I will inform you it's currently 3-1 to Phoenix Inferno. That's a weird name, and yeah, but Bad Karma in this current game 2-0. So this one could very well be a juicy series. So yeah, thank you all for watching this. I hope you did enjoy. Wasn't quite the 2 matches we were going to have, but nonetheless, still got some great gameplay. We'll send you all over to the main stream now, and you'll get to watch that match conclude. We're going to be me and Danny here on the casting desk. Thank you all again, and we're going to see you all again next time.